Looks like a typical cave, right? Nah, not this time. I modded Minecraft to the point it is unrecognizable, or at least tried to, and I planned to play 25 days in this modded version of Minecraft. Day 1, you might notice a few differences from normal Minecraft, but regardless, it was a typical start. I would see my first Cobblemon, and I showed off the map a bit. It's pretty neat. I would choose to pick my first Cobblemon in a village I found, and yeah, I think it was a wise choice. Now, beneath that village was actually a cave, and depending on what I have shown or not, you might actually have started to notice a leveling up your skill tree notification. Yeah, one of the mods I added was a skill tree, and it can get really, really OP. I found and would activate the Waystone and claiming that village as mine. It was named Crescid. Day 2 was spent mostly gathering apricorns, so I could craft cobble balls and catch a few or hunt a certain 3. And I found a clown home? He expelled his bodily feelings on me, and I, regardless, dealt with the home and cleared it to make sure it was safe. After more apricot gathering, I leveled the skill tree and added an extra heart. Yeah, that's something you can do. I found another waystone oddly close to the village and would hear a odd sound that did not traumatize me, and if you know, you know. Days 3 to 5. I'd craft a set of quick balls for a better catch rate. That's pretty much it. I went back to the cave for some Cobblemon materials, and then would head east to the plains to explore more of the land around. And midway, I wanted to capture a Cobblemon I found and got him on the second ball. It's cool. That's it. Now, with my mods, the nighttime was no longer a joke, and I thought it was safe, but was jump-scared by whatever that was, and the thing, or whatever it was defeated by the guards in the village. I eventually did leave that village and would find a tower with Cobblemon items. This is also when I used another mod to make full emerald armor. Yeah, maybe it's a little too OP this early on, but whatever. I ventured out again, but north this time to get to learn the new mob types at night. Day 6, I went to explore the tower dungeon, since I was somewhat ready for the difficulty, and for the tower itself, it wasn't that bad when it comes to difficulty. There was definitely a few spots I could 100% just camp, and farm the mobs, but the loot was pretty nice, and I made an emerald sword since my iron sword actually broke during the fight, and the boss fight was extremely boring and disappointing because of the mining fatigue and the boss just kind of being weak, but he did give me a really good scythe that would carry me throughout the entire run. Day 7, I explored a cave and tried to capture a Cobblemon I wanted for my collection, but failed horribly, and thought, oh, I'm gonna have them fight with one of my Pokemon, and think that would work. Yeah, it didn't. I climbed a mountain trying to find a sanctuary for my day 25 goal, and found a semi-nice spot watching the sunset, and would sleep in one of those farmer homes. Days 8 to 10 had a odd-looking fellow that had been allergic to the sun. And also, I got rid of the weird armor mod I had that made it look... Anyway, if you haven't seen it, you don't need to. And I went back to the much better vanilla armor. I explored another village and took the Waystone back to Crescid, or my village, and made some iron cosmetic armor. It's another mod I had, since it just looks better with my skin, I think. By this point, I made a Pokedex to help me find and identify Pokemon, and at night, I discovered one of my mods and fought the nightmare, or that nightmare. It's a thing, and I fought it again. I made a enchanting room and saw some interesting mobs at night. I explored the tower dungeon nearby Crescid, and overall it was pretty easy, and the loot was just as good. Day 11, I enchanted my diamond pick and got a decent enchantment, which I would mine down hoping. I find a cave and found one looting it and clearing out the locals. I level up a few more skills and then just show what I've leveled up so far in my skill tree, and found a odd looking thing, or fellow down there. Day 12, I went to a northern village to explore some more up there and tried to capture and fight another Pokemon, but yeah. Either way, I went to the village, or the mountain village, I'll call it, to make my new home that had an actual Cobblemon-based home in it. The other issue is the place was filled with the really annoying deep snow that you fall in. Anyway, a thing also happened during this. So, yeah. Day 13, I had made temporary gear and then waystoned back to the mountain village to get my stuff back and would find one of the 3 Pokemon I was hunting. Or Furfro. It's still such a weird... Anyway, the other 2 I'll keep quiet for now, but I couldn't catch it since I didn't have anything, and I luckily was able to get back my stuff with some of it actually falling into the snow, which is weird, but the nightmare did come back at night, and I actually found a way to defeat it. It actually was really weak, which is weird. Days 14 to 16 was mostly nothing in the day for day 14 at least, but I did explore for other villages, and I'd found another village, and I fought some very interesting mobs. Eventually, I went back to Crescent to make a PC for the Pokemon, and after that, I would experiment with the cave feature for my map, or the map system, and would mostly not really cheat with it, but just look for a cave, and found one. But then during this cave, I met the goat, Florentino. He's awesome. He's so cool. His trades, though, are absolutely overpowered. This guy should be nerfed. This is ridiculous. The cave had a deeper part that looked normal at first, but yeah, there were those things. I'm genuinely scarred for eternity by these things. I tried to fight it a few times, but yeah, I kind of gave up. And after that, I went to another part of the cave and do a funny roll to evade a skeleton arrow and made them bully each other. I tried to have my Pokemon fight for me, but yeah, it didn't go too well at all. The main goal down there was to look for Amethyst, and I was rudely interrupted, but would get more than enough and fight a few more odd fellows down there and progress my skill tree. Day 17, I watched the sunrise and made the PC and stored the Pokemon I had in my party. The original goal was to stock up more wood and explore, but I found my number 1 most important Pokemon I was hunting. I recognized Absol immediately. Instantaneous. Absolute, just immediate recognition. It was beautiful. And that was one of my 3 Pokemon I needed to catch, and for my day 25 goal. I would get lucky and capture him pretty quickly and have a very odd celebration to just admire my beloved Absol. The nightmare would return, but I found a method to deal with them and would take them down. Day 18, I found another portal, which was something else I was hunting for, since I did need to go to the Nether for some Cobblemon items, and would watch the sunrise with Absol, and spent most of the day repairing the portal. Near the end of the day, I found a nice beach village and captured another Pokemon from my collection. Day 19, I watched the sunrise again with Absol. Can you tell how much I love that Pokemon? Man. I would also make an obsidian shovel, because I can, and would work on a storage room in that same beach village with Absol. It kind of did get in the way a few times, but didn't bother me much. I would need that storage room for the post-Nether exploration, though. Days 20 to 21. I was in the Nether now and cleared my way to make sure that the portal was at least somewhat safe and not dangerous. I used the map in the Nether, which worked really well, oddly enough, to find some way to get out of the deltas. I hate the deltas. I need to stop spawning here. I wish I didn't spawn here so much. For glowstone, for the Cobblemon items I needed. Once I reached the normal Nether, tolerable Nether, I would see that there was a object thing that had piglins and was spawning them. They were scary, but either way I dealt with them. It turned to day 21 at some point, and I saw that there was actually ghastly down there, and so I captured at least one in hope for a haunter, not really knowing how to get a haunter, at least not yet, and would get the glowstone I need and finally be done with that horrible place. Day 22, I waystoned back to Crescent and made some more combo balls in hope of finding any good or some type of Pokemon to catch, and would level Ghastly with the candy and then try to have him fight, but yeah, no, that it was terrible. It was so embarrassing. I don't know. I'm sorry you had to even watch that. Regardless, I stole a waystone that was actually really close to Crescent for some reason for my sanctuary for day 25. and I would find two really nice farmer homes for possible sanctuaries, and one of them even having a waystone next to it. But it still felt off and not exactly what I was looking for or really wanted in my Pokemon sanctuary. Day 23, I went back to Crested to find one spot I had in backup for the sanctuary, and I would clear out the basement and get rid of a really annoying floating piece of land that just pissed me off a lot. And I would place the waystone, and yeah, I'm not gonna say that name because it's too peak of a name to read. Regardless, I would head back to Crested and make a diamond sword and try to get some good enchantments, but all of them were generally and utterly disappointing, so I just used enchanting books that I had found in some of the villages to make okay sword, and would then repair my emerald armor and make an emerald shovel and axe. Day 24, I gathered the materials from the Nether and what I had before. To make the materials, I needed to make a Pokénav, which would help me hunt the Pokemon I want, and made 2 PCs to change them into pasture or free roam items for my Pokemon to just let them roam around for the sanctuary. For now, I let my first 2 Pokemon roam around the sanctuary. Day 25, I cleaned the mess of a absolute bombshell my inventory was, and I would end up crafting a Pokefinder to have a real-time GPS of the Pokemon I wanted. In pure cope, I will actually find them. Yet, just don't genuinely ask me why I chose the rarest possible Pokemon for my Pokemon Sanctuary, but regardless, I did, and it was dumb. My main 3 Pokemon that I wanted, which I guess I could say now, were Furfrou, you know what, I give up saying that name, and Absol and Ninetales, which I think, you know, pretty nice, and an evolution just for fun, despite them being probably the rarest number-wise I've seen. I did find a Lapras, but failed horribly to capture it and kind of just gave up. It wasn't worth it. I would waystone back to the mountain village and hope for something with the Pokefinder, and when I equipped it, I was never happier. I generally the dumbest, largest smile on my face when I saw the Furfrou appear on the GPS, and I removed those annoying stragglers in my way, and I captured it relatively fast. I swapped my first Pokemon for the Furfrou and would roam with Absol and watch the sunrise, ending day 25 in my half-done sanctuary with Absol at my side. Where do I begin? I enjoy doing runs like this with the purpose and comparison to challenge runs with no real deeper meaning or narrative hidden beneath it or reason of doing it, but out of all of the ones I did, this mod pack I created, I truly just, it made me want to keep playing. I remember when I was even playtesting, I was playing all day. And honestly, it's just such a different experience and way of playing Minecraft. Normal Minecraft kind of just can't really compare. But then comes the issue. When does something like that kind of become bad? Have I modded Minecraft to a point that it's not even Minecraft anymore? Or am I like playing a remastered or revisioned version of Minecraft? This run was overall such a fun way of playing Minecraft. I can't stop even thinking about it. I even stretched out my recording days because I just didn't want to end the run. I didn't want to stop playing it. And in all honesty, normal Minecraft might never have me feel that way. So, post 25 days of this somewhat heavily modded Minecraft, does modding Minecraft to this extent make it unrecognizable, or is it impossible to strip the soul of something so special? I think the best way to word this is, no matter how much you try to change something, if its core is truly special, truly unlike anything else, you can never truly hide it. Minecraft will always be Minecraft. No matter if it's vanilla or it's modded to oblivion, it will always be Minecraft.